Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of the Travel Creator Podcast. I'm Laura. I'm a content developer for travel influencers, and I support them through newsletter creation, content repurposing, and blog writing. Today we're talking about something that could literally change everything, and I'm not even being dramatic. We are talking about the potential of TikTok being banned in the US. If you are not a US creator, this is still going to be a valuable episode for you because, spoiler alert, I'm going to teach you how to set up an email list and why it's going to change your life and is far better than any sort of social media strategy you could put together. Well, let's get into it. So in case you missed it, on December 6th, a New York Times article was published. The news came out that TikTok is one step closer to disappearing in the United States. And it will go away if it is not sold to a non-Chinese company by January 19th. It is going to face a ban in the United States. And while you're freaking out, let me guide you through what the heck to do. So, for some creators, this might not mean anything. And for others, this could be your entire income or community just going away quite literally overnight. Luckily, we have at least some advance notice that this could potentially be happening, and what I'm going to walk you through is going to be beneficial whether TikTok actually gets banned or not. If you're in the camp where you're making a ton of money from TikTok, or it's the platform you primarily show up on and have a lot of following and community engagement on, this is the episode for you. We're going to chat through what to do and what you can do if your audience is on TikTok, even if it goes away. Okay. So if TikTok doesn't go away, like I said, you can still apply these lessons as you should, since you shouldn't have your community all on one platform. Just like you shouldn't put your eggs all in one basket. It's just not a good idea. It's too heavy. It might break. Here's why you should prioritize diversifying your community to other platforms. The first one is exactly for this reason we're facing right now in the US. TikTok might go away. This might really happen. And it could quite literally be your only source of income, and that is a major issue. 2, you can always make more money if you put your time and effort into growing multiple platforms. And yes, this can take some time, this can take some patience, this can take some strategy, but it does give you multiple streams of income, or at least avenues of income on the internet, especially if you're at that stage where you're reaching out to brands and you want to tell them, hey, not only do I have a TikTok, but I also have a newsletter where I can reach X number of people, and here's my open rate to prove that they are actually seeing my content. Because unlike social media, when you press send on an email, it goes to every single person. You know every single person is seeing, having the opportunity to view your content, where that is not the case on social media. You don't know how many people are seeing your content. Third reason is we never know when something like what's happening to TikTok in the US right now is going to happen to other social media platforms you show up on. It is a reality we are now facing. People talk about it all the time. Oh, these platforms could go away, but like now it might actually happen. If anything, let this be a kick in the pants to take steps to do something about your platforms and where you show up online. Now let's get into what you can do to move your community from TikTok or another platform that you haven't diversified your sharing on yet. My first and my best suggestion is to create an email list. Okay. And no, this doesn't have to be a huge, daunting job. So even if you don't plan on sharing any newsletter content right now, this doesn't mean you can't start collecting email addresses of those in your community. In fact, I think you should be actively creating content that pushes people to sign up for your newsletter as a CTA to tell them what they can find within your newsletter, even if you don't send one already. Of course, if you're not writing any newsletter content and just want to push people to sign up, it can be hard to tell people what they might expect to receive in their inboxes. I recommend keeping it generic yet intriguing. For example, you can say things like, keep up to date on XYZ niche you share about, or receive tips and tricks and even more insight into XYZ niche or content you share about. Just be creative. Let people know what you anticipate sharing or want to share in your newsletter. So for example, if you're a budget backpacker, you could say, sign up to receive tips on all of my best budget backpacking resources, and another better word for tips. Just keep it interesting, yet a little bit open-ended so that you still have opportunity to play with what you really send. Another great way to get folks on your email list is to create a piece of content and share half of the tip or the solution to the pain point in that piece of content you're sharing about, and state the other half and say that the other half can be found in your newsletter. This essentially gets people to want to give you your email address to receive that extra information or the second piece of the puzzle. If you're ready to kick off the newsletter train right away, you're going to want to pick a platform to share your emails on. I love Kit because it's so simple to use and honestly is more than just an email software manager. But I always recommend using a software that you're already familiar with. So don't learn or use something new just because you think you have to. Below is linked for you my free newsletter template. It has sections and tips for you to get started if you're like, I know I need to create a newsletter and I just haven't done it yet. And if you've tried to start the newsletter thing and you haven't continued, it's time to schedule a call with me as we enter the new year. In 60 minutes, we can have a strategizing session to create your newsletter dream goals for the new year. For one of my clients, I created a 52-week newsletter template. 52 weeks. That's an entire year. And we can do that. Of course, I can't write the content. I can't write 52 weeks of content in 60 minutes, but I sure can strategize and plan it with you. This is something I do for creators and is something I can help you do to stay consistent with. So if you want to start a newsletter in the new year, or it's something you know you've been needing to do and you just haven't freaking done it, the link to book a call with me is always in the show notes for you. If you're not convinced email marketing is something you need to be tapping into as a travel creator in 2025, let me share some stats with you from Constant Contact. I still recommend using ConvertKit, okay? I've used Constant Contact before. I think it's fine. That's what I think about it. But that's not the important part here. Okay, 88% of people check their email every day. That is a lot of people. Also, people in the US send the most emails every single day, which means they are some of the people who are on their email the most. So if we want people to opt in to things we are buying or selling, wouldn't we want to show up where they're spending time? In 2024, 361.1 billion emails were estimated to be sent globally. And unlike any other sort of marketing channels, growth is something we can predict in email marketing. So experts say that by 2027, we predict that there will be 408.2 billion emails sent every single day. So if you're not hopping on the email train right now, you need to, because it's just going to get bigger and brands are going to see it as more valuable. Okay, the overall average of this report for open rates for all industries is 32.55%. So imagine you're following right now on your biggest platform. Think about if 32.55% of every single person you followed you saw your piece of content, it would probably do pretty well. And remember that people in their inbox expect to be sold to and people on social media expect to be entertained. So if you have 32.55% of people in your inbox opening your content and then taking action, it's likely you're going to see far better results. It's not even likely. There's literally math that says so. Far better results of people not only opening your content, but saying yes to what you're offering. Okay, get ready for this one, y'all. 79% of millennials and 57% of Gen Z are contacted by brands via email. Imagine if you could reach almost 60% of your social media audience. Well, you can't. You can't do that. You cannot guarantee those results. But like I said with email marketing, when you press send, it goes to people. It literally shows up in their inbox in front of their face. When you press send on social media, we don't even know who it's going to. We really don't. We can't predict it. It can't be tracked. It can't be measured exactly how many times XYZ person has not only seen your piece of content, but interacted with it. But those are the statistics we can see consistently on email marketing software. If you send a campaign, you can go in and look and see, oh, Marie opened my email and this is what she clicked on and this is what she did. And we can see how many times she's done that. It's fascinating. Just like the data points itself. So I'm telling you, if you were sleeping on newsletters, now is the time to set one up. Okay. This is why I offer strategy sessions, 60 minutes. We can sort out your newsletter to feel good, to feel like you're finally on track with being able to work with the brands of your dreams in 2025. 40% of small business owners said that one of the reasons they were procrastinating on email marketing tasks is because they don't have time. And I want to tell you that we never have enough time. But once you set aside a little bit of that time to put together an email marketing campaign, not even a campaign, just a newsletter, it is going to give you back so much more of the time that you don't think you have, so you can be doing more important things. And when you work with me to create a newsletter strategy, I'm doing all the hard part. You're just approving the content so that it's already going out on its own, and you can be spending time elsewhere on things in your business that require your expertise, and you don't have to worry about perfecting every social media post because we've already gotten the attention of your community in your newsletter. So if you're listening to this and you are still creating content on TikTok, which might go away, I encourage you to 1, grab my free newsletter template linked in the show notes. 2, set up a strategy call with me. 3, go back and listen to episodes on the show about repurposing your content, because you have incredible content already shared on TikTok that we can look at your analytics to see what has performed the best for your audience and recreate that in an effective way to perform well on other platforms and in your email newsletter. Don't totally freak out if TikTok does go away. It is not the end of everything, but I really want you to take the strategies now to be successful if it does happen, so that all of a sudden you're not up a stream without a paddle. If you have questions about email marketing, go ahead and schedule that 60-minute session with me. I love email marketing and I want you to succeed, and I want you to have multiple streams of income just as badly as you do. Happy creating. Send that damn email, and I'll see you next week.